Welcome back to today's industry recap. AirAsia are eyeing a massive new aircraft order. There's developments at JetBlue, and Air France has commenced a new route. Why not begin there? With the inauguration of service between Paris Charles de Gaulle and the Philippines, with non-stop flights to Manila. The carrier will offer thrice weekly operations between Paris and Manila, with a pre-departure ceremony that certainly attracted significant politicians and members of the airline group. The first flight operated on the 8th of December 2024, with Air France using the state-of-the-art A350-900 between the two ever-so-popular destinations. Service operated as AF208, with a departure from Paris at 11:30 p.m, this actually on December the 7th, before being airborne for around 13 hours, and then arriving the following day into Manila at 7:26 p.m. local time. Again, your departure and arrival time are local to their respective city in question, and therefore the time zone. Air France KLM are the only European carriers to really offer daily service to Manila, with Air France's originating in their home of Paris, and KLM service operating from Amsterdam Schiphol. While this is being broadcast as an important service launch, this is actually technically a resumption, as Air France previously offered service to the Philippines 2 decades ago, but funnily enough, the service cancellation that came 2 decades ago was driven by the French flag carrier and KLM coming together, and KLM instead focusing on their own operation and attaching the Air France code share next to their service. To aid network expansion efforts, they are finally resuming the important service with their own aircraft, that being the A350-900 with 3 flights a week initially. Those A350s are equipped with 34 seats in business class, 24 in premium economy, and then at the back of the cabin, you'll be able to find 266 in standard economy. Over to JetBlue, who have announced a substantial European expansion by launching new non-stop services towards the area for 2025. The US carrier will launch a new seasonal service between Boston Logan and Edinburgh Airport in Scotland. The flight to Scotland will complement an existing New York JFK originating flight that also operates on a seasonal basis, giving the company and therefore its customers greater flexibility to travel to and from the United States to Scotland. However, there'll also be a new launch from Boston Logan International to Madrid. That route is expected to commence on May the 22nd, 2025, and the service will operate daily, but again, as strictly a seasonal operation to meet the strong demand levels that are seen during this period. Furthermore, the landmark route will formally see JetBlue debut in Spain, as part of really their continued efforts to build upon their network in Europe, which has advanced quite substantially across recent times. JetBlue only recently launched service to Europe, I'm talking in the last couple of years, as part of their own expansion efforts to really grow their network in the best possible manner that they deemed. They want to serve in-demand cities, and they've leveraged the capabilities of planes such as the newly delivered A321LR to really spread their wings. The US carrier considers Madrid and Edinburgh 2 of the most exciting but also popular destinations across Europe, and therefore by serving them, they will offer fantastic transatlantic options for their customers. If you would like to pause the video now, you are more than welcome to, as on your screen you'll be able to see really the JetBlue gateway to Europe in 2025 and the transatlantic routes that are on sale. Obviously, they are leveraging their Boston and New York JFK hubs for most of this service. You'll be able to see some that are seasonally and then some that are operating year-round. The Boston to Madrid flight will operate as JB2261-2260, departure from Boston at 10:25 p.m. with a next day arrival at 11:30 in the morning. The return leg departs Madrid at 1:30 p.m. with an arrival back into Boston at 3:20 p.m. All these times local to their respective city. The flight will operate through to the 24th of October next year. So again, just really to cater to that all-important seasonal summer demand that we see take place. Meanwhile, your Boston to Edinburgh flight will operate as JB10791080 with a departure at 10:30 p.m. and arriving into Scotland the next day at 10:10 in the morning. The plane will spend 2 hours on the ground, very similar to that Madrid flight, before jetting back off to Boston, where it will touch down in the United States at 2:22 p.m. Service will also conclude on the 24th of October 2025. The 2 route announcements will form an integral part of that 2025 2025 transatlantic offering from the US-based company. From Boston, the following will be offered, whether seasonal or year-round, and frequencies. Feel free to pause the video again now if you'd really like an overview of what we'll be looking at from Boston. Some of the highlights include the already existing daily year-round flight to London Heathrow. You also have daily year-round flights to Paris Charles de Gaulle. Some of your more seasonal locations include Amsterdam, Dublin, London Gatwick, Edinburgh, and obviously Madrid. Meanwhile, JetBlue also looks to offer a fantastic offering from New York JFK. Now, this has 2 daily year-round flights to London Heathrow, your 1 daily year-round to Paris, and New York JFK is where you'll see year-round flights to Amsterdam, 1 daily there as well. Meanwhile, Dublin and Edinburgh are your seasonal locations on that market. Over to the final story, AirAsia, a major player in our industry, is currently eyeing up a prospective new aircraft order that would see it commit to up to 100 units. As confirmed in an article published by Aviation Week following comments from the CEO, regional jets are actually on the cards, with 3 manufacturers being put forward as the available options: Airbus, Embraer, and Comac. This order spells good news for the latter 2 plane makers, who, if they could secure such a deal, especially Embraer, would be able to substantially increase their backlog and respond to some critics over the performance maybe of their regional jets not being quite up to the standard that some would like to expect. However, this is still a very modest aircraft and has been performing incredibly well. The AirAsia group has some 252 aircraft spread across several airlines that range from AirAsia X, Thai AirAsia, Philippines AirAsia, and others. The fleet really does focus though on Airbus-produced planes, with some A330s, but we are predominantly looking towards A320 family planes. While there are 252 lists on airline data pages, the amount of actually active units is far less than this, sitting at just below 200. The view is this will grow by the end of this year, and then hopefully by the end of 2025, the total active fleet will look more at around 230, maybe a couple of units above. A great deal of that is going to depend on how supply chains continue recovering, and whether your aircraft manufacturer in Airbus can get the planes out to companies such as AirAsia on time. A move towards regional aircraft, however, would offer them great flexibility to establish, remember with so many established airlines in this region, it would also present a new aircraft type that would be introduced and the possibility for a new plane maker to join the fleet composition. Primarily, the appeal for regional aircraft, though, comes from AirAsia's desire to reach more markets and focus on secondary airports moving forward, which have fantastic market demand but may not require some of their larger aircraft. AirAsia wouldn't be the first airline in the region to adopt this type of strategy, as traffic continues to grow, and the need to serve some smaller destinations is ultimately becoming a higher requirement. Therefore, having the right aircraft equipped to really be able to achieve this is certainly an important pillar. I'd love to hear your take down below in the comments on that prospective new aircraft order, alongside the other stories that I covered in today's recap. Thanks a bunch for your support. Please take care, do be safe, and I will indeed see you same place, same time tomorrow for your latest industry news.
And we'll fly.